The Brooklyn Bridge is a symbol of New York, emerging from the shores and destinies. But one evening it became more than just a bridge, but the scene of a miracle. Here, amidst the hum of cars and the wind from the East River, a German shepherd named Titan showed that instinct can scream louder than words. Courage that saved dozens of lives. How did a dog become a savior? Here is Titan. His fur, his tongue, became with golden reflections, his gaze deep and penetrating. His partner is Officer Emily, a woman with short hair and a strong character. They patrolled the city as the sun dipped to the horizon. Emily adjusted the radio. "Titan, quiet today, right?" But the dog did not agree. That evening was an ordinary one. Tourists were taking selfies, cars were whizzing by, seagulls were screaming over the water. Titan and Emile were patrolling the pedestrian zone, a routine for a police team. But Titan was more than just a dog. His instincts, honed by years of service, caught what people missed. Emily petted him. "You're my radar, Titan." And that day the radar rang. They reached the middle of the bridge when Titan suddenly sat down. His ears were twitching, his nose sniffing the asphalt. Emily leaned over. "What's up, boy?" The dog growled, softly but persistently. But Titan didn't give up. Titan approached one of the supports, the huge steel structures that held up the city. He barked, his voice echoing over the water. Emily shone her flashlight. Nothing unusual. But then she heard a faint, strange sound, a clicking sound, like metal cracking. "Titan, what do you hear?" she whispered. The dog kept his eyes on the support, his fur standing on end. Emily called for backup. "Something's wrong here, check the bridge." The radio crackled. "It's just a dog barking." But Emily trusted Titan more than words. The dog raced along the bridge, his nose leading him to the source of the sound. The Titan raced, dodging people and cars. His paws clattered on the concrete, his vest gleaming under the streetlights. He stopped near a thick steel cable, one of the ones holding the bridge in the air. The clicking sound grew clearer, as if a clock were counting down the time. The Titan growled, his teeth clicking against the metal. Emily called out, "What did you find?" She shone her flashlight and saw the cable was cracking. A small but deep crack was growing. Emily froze. "This won't hold." She chirped into the radio. "There's a cable problem on the Brooklyn Bridge." But the connection was lost. Something was jamming the signal, and people around her began to look around. The Titan pulled Emily toward the center of the bridge, where the main supports met. The sound became deafening. The metal groaned like an animal in agony. Tourists began to panic. Cars honked. Someone shouted, "What's going on?" Emily saw another cable starting to snap. She shouted. The dog rushed to the road, jumped in front of the car, and barked so loudly that the driver braked. Emily ran after him, waving her arms. "Stop! Everyone off the bridge!" The Titan ran between the cars, forcing people. A crack. One of the cables snapped, but the Titan did not stop. The police arrived within minutes. The bridge was surrounded, traffic stopped, people were evacuated. Engineers rushed to the cables. One snapped, but the main supports held. Emily stood with Titan, her hands shaking. "You felt it, Titan. You saved us," she whispered. The dog licked her hand, his eyes shining with calm. Dozens of lives, in cars, on pedestrian paths, remained intact thanks to him. Later it turned out, corrosion had weakened the cables for years. Without Titan, the bridge could have collapsed. His instinct became stronger than any words or machines. He is the savior of the Brooklyn Bridge. Titan proved instinct can scream louder than chaos. Like if he impressed you, write what your song would do on the bridge. Subscribe. More heroes ahead.